I'm your host, Paul Michaels. Welcome to another episode of Nerd Supernova. My co-host,
KJ McDermott.
And today we're going to be discussing Deadpool.
The Merc with a Mouth.
Yeah.
What if they actually had that as like the sequel thing?
Oh, that's the title? We'll get on that later. I'm pretty sure the sequel's going to be Deadpool Cable. I think that's what they're going to go with. At least that's what I assume. Oh yeah, by the way, spoilers on all of this. We'll put a spoiler warning on the video before you see it. But
I know, those pictures of Keira Knightley look so sexy.
I know, right? Yeah. Maybe if they have like a multiverse version of Cable.
Oh, they showed some fan art of her.
Oh no, I saw it.
Okay.
I thought it was cool. All right, let's just get the ball rolling. I don't think we need to beat around the bush. I think you and I both legitimately love this movie. I've seen it twice. You've seen it 3 times.
Yeah, I've seen it 3 times now.
Yeah.
I saw it the
opening night.
Well, the Thursday preview opening night thingy.
Yeah.
With my mom. Yep, that's right. I went to the movie with my mom.
Yeah.
And it was fun going with her because she's seen like the other superhero movies and like Marvel and DC. She's not really into comic books, but being enough around me, she knows enough about them to enjoy them.
Yeah.
And so I tried to ease her into who Deadpool was going to be, trying to be like, yeah, this isn't the same type of movie, and explain a little bit about the character, and then she loved it. She loved it a lot. Even the next day, the next night and stuff, we were quoting different stuff. Like, we went out to dinner at this bar in town, and my dad did not see it with us, but we're sitting there and we were making a joke about buying a blowjob shop for someone, like, doing the whole scene, be like, we should send it to that guy and say it's from that guy and see what happens. And she was just like, ha ha, like laughing about it. And my dad's just sitting there being like,
yeah,
blowjob? What? Like, not getting it. And yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, it was funny. And so I was actually joking with her earlier, being like, you should be a guest commentator, getting like, because we're both nerds, getting it from somebody who like doesn't read comic books. And
that
really
you know what though, that makes us seem even more nerdy, because it'd be like, and our guest star is my mom.
No, anybody who ever listens to this, if they know my mom, they know she's cool as shit though. So
yeah, your mom's a pretty sassy lady, to say the least. So okay, let's get into the movie. Okay. So before we even get into anything, I just want to state what the movie did for me because like for me,
on a physical, emotional, and
religious shut level. Up. But you know my backstory was that I was more into movies and television, and then I've always liked superheroes, but I didn't start reading the comics, like really getting into comics till like 2008. So when I look at a comic book movie, I look at it from a comic book standpoint, and I look at it from a movie film point, like what it does. Now, comic books. It did very well by the comic book, very true to the source material. Granted, they have some limitations because, they can't talk about the Marvel Universe so much, but it's fine because Deadpool is primarily in the X-Men universe anyway, so it worked out really well. As a film, though, I want to say what it did best as far as, like, if there's a history of film or the genre of the superhero, I would say Deadpool by far marks the really, really good attempt and succeeds at making the first real anti-hero movie.
What I think that it did best in as a movie standpoint is it didn't feel like an origin movie.
I guess.
No,
I mean, yes and no.
It starts out like yes, you get the origin, but it's not like the Spider-Man movies where you sit there and like, here's Peter Parker, he's a normal boy at school, and then something happens. It starts out in the middle. Yeah. Where he's already got the powers and he's already talking to you, like, oh, hey, what's up, bitches?
Well, no, you know what it is, though? The screenwriters who wrote Zombieland and are very, very smart at what they do. Like, this was a very well-made script. Of course, they had enough time to work on it because Fox never got this greenlit till just recently. That being said, I think they knew that the whole story... I don't know if they wrote it out, like, in chronological order and then they changed it later or something, but I think...
I have the script at home on my computer if you want to see the original...
The original first draft or whatever? Okay.
Or the leaked script from a while ago.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll get into that later, but because we're going to talk about like the production hell of this movie. But yeah, so but either way, like I think they knew off the bat that they started with just, hey, this is some guy named Wade you never met. He's threatening a kid here, and he's got a girl. He goes to a bar. Yeah.
In the comic books, he kills that pizza guy.
Oh yeah. I've heard that that's direct from the comics, but he actually kills. I didn't know that. But okay. That being said, the whole thing is that basically they think they knew people have been waiting to see Deadpool. Let's show them like a good 10 minutes of Deadpool. And then we get a little bit of the origin, then we go back to Deadpool, a little bit more of the origin, some more Deadpool.
Yeah.
And they were smart to do that, because I feel like the minute you watch the movie, you're right into it. Like the opening credits are so
perfect.
good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is there anything you want to add, like as far as like what? I mean, was there? I still have the song stuck in my head. It's not on the same level as "Come and Get Your Love" on Guardians. No. And now it's back in there again. But no, like was it "Morning Angel"? Right?
Just call me Angel. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been working and humming that to myself over the last couple days because it's just
I have
in there
Careless
now.
Whisper stuck in my head.
The one song I keep singing in my head, not like as like an actual song, but I forgot this. Junkie XL. I forget his actual real name. It's Tom something or other, but he is a very talented guy. He did the soundtrack to Mad Max Fury Road. He's also scoring the Batman parts of the Batman Superman movie, while Hans Zimmer maintains with the rest of the
So
themes.
he's only playing with the Batman parts, huh?
Well, Hans Zimmer. No, yeah. Anyway, Hans Zimmer came in and was like, "Listen, I will do this movie, but I can't redo Batman. I've done Batman. Like to go back and reinvent again, it'd be kind of stressful, or not stressful, but like I can't, you can only have so much of the guy. So they brought in Junkie XL to do mainly like the new Batman stuff, the new Batman themes. I mean, I don't know how much of a full collaboration it is. I don't know. Deadpool, he did the actual soundtrack. I mean, not excluding the actual songs. Yeah, the actual score. Like all that music you're hearing, all that awesome music when he's like coming into the van there and like beating the crap out of those guys and throwing them on the highway. That's all Junkie XL music right there. It's called one of my favorite tracks of his. It's called Maximum Effort. You should look that up.
Yeah,
on
I
YouTube.
looked up the soundtrack on iTunes. I didn't buy it, but
yeah,
I looked it up.
But it's good. It's got a lot of synthwave in it and stuff. Like there's definitely like even an '80s feel to it.
Because I
like
actually
it.
thought that Deadpool rap was by Lonely Island, but it wasn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there
Like
is a Deadpool rap in there that was done, I guess, on the game or something, and they brought it into the movie.
That's what I'm talking about. The one where it's like Deadpool, and it's during a whole montage where he's hunting down all the goons.
Oh, okay.
And it's like Deadpool, blah blah blah. And I was just like, it sounds like a Lonely Island song to me. But then I looked it up and it wasn't. I was like, oh, that's weird.
Apparently, the rap was featured in the game. I don't have the game. I know our friend Damien got the game and said it was pretty intense. He also is very much a.
He was actually
at
Deadpool. He was at the movie.
Yeah, no, you were telling me, and I missed seeing him, I guess. But yeah, he also enjoyed the movie as well. I assume, correct?
Yes, he was laughing quite a bit.
Yeah. It's a solid. If you love Deadpool, you're gonna love the movie. That's pretty much.
Well, if you just like movies in general, it's a good movie. Sorry, no. Well, I like the pacing of it too.
Yeah, pacing is very well done.
Going back to me saying that like it didn't feel like an origin movie because origin movies always start out really really slow. And it's the slow intro to the character,
and then eventually
have the powers,
at some point,
and then they have the rising action where like they get the powers, and then there's the big climax with the villain, and then it's like the falling action.
Yeah.
It starts out midway through the rising action to begin with.
Yeah.
And then it goes back and forth, and so like the pacing is like, here's a great fight sequence. Oh, here's a little bit of the storyline. Here's another great fight sequence with a couple jokes. Here's some more little bit of the storyline. And the way that it moves fluidly back and forth between those transitions, it works, and it keeps you engaged. It keeps you wanting to watch it. It keeps you keeps your attention.
The thing is, what's again, this is huge. I think people have talked about this by now, but basically just the idea that not only is it's a rated R superhero movie that's doing extremely well, like very well.
Spawn.
Yeah, Spawn and Wolverine.
Spawn now.
Wolverine is getting talked about being made R now. The next Wolverine movie.
Wish.
Yeah, I don't know.
For Hugh's last one.
Yeah. Well, here's what I say about that. A lot of actors go in about this will be my last one or whatever. I tell you this: if they make a good rated R Wolverine movie and it goes over extremely well. And the fact is that they're making more X-Men movies, and the fact also too that they may want a Deadpool versus Wolverine. Yeah, I pay to see that movie, and I definitely think Hugh Jackman's going to want to cash in on that. Now I don't know what the strand of his body would be.
Cartoon where you hear the cash register and he's got the dollar signs in his eyes, like
pretty much. And he's got the character down. Like he doesn't really need to do much else. I mean, like I mean, look, I mean, if we were to restart the Wolverine all over again, there'd be a lot of different stuff you could do. But like, I feel like Hugh Jackman knows the character enough where, like, you know, you can just have him be there and just have him be a presence.
I feel like we still have never seen the Wolverine go full berserk Wolverine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what's missing is the rated R Wolverine.
If they did a rated R one and he goes full primal animal berserk status,
but that's what I'm saying.
If
he does that, the rated R movie is successful. I could see Hugh staying on longer if he wanted to. But that being said, so let's as I was saying, as far as Deadpool goes as rated R. What's interesting about the film, apart from its huge success, and thank God for that, because I think it's going to affect a lot of future films down the line. It's kind of funny because by radar standards, like at least superhero-wise, it's awesome.
There really wasn't that much.
But no, that's the thing though too is like it's
they swear a lot.
There's cussing.
You
there's
see some blood. It wasn't super gory.
Yeah.
And you see a couple boobs. Even my mom was saying like, "Oh yeah, like." There were boobs. It's not like you didn't see like full penetration sex. It was like, whatever. You see nipples. Everybody's got them.
Yeah,
like,
I mean the most kinky it ever gets is maybe like the montage of like him, Deadpool and Vanessa.
Even then you don't see anything.
Yeah, you don't really. Yeah, you don't see much.
It's all just implied.
Yeah, and you
see shit like that on TV nowadays. Like.
Pretty much. But that's what I'm saying is that it's kind of funny though too because. Someone put it best, and I kind of agree with them. It's the idea that basically we've been, at least movie-wise, we've been in such a PG-13 era for like the longest fucking time. You know, with the exception of maybe a few rated R films here and there. Like to see something in that genre go rated R and have fun with it and do well with it, like it's a breath of fresh air. Basically, it's exactly what we were talking about months ago.
He says the word "fuck" like 85
times.
Oh,
it's great! It's so great though. It's so good. Like when he calls Colossus a fucking cockblock, like it's great, you know. Like you really enjoy that. I think I don't know. Like I'm trying to think. So my nitpick, I guess, if you have to go nitpick, and I'm saying this as a highly positive review, I'm saying like I give this movie like either a 9 or 9.5 as far as representing the character and being a fun comic book movie. But for me, the only nitpick is that. You can kind of guess, like granted, even though it's great pacing and it goes back and forth, you can kind of guess that Deadpool is going to track down the bad guy and get the bad guy, and hopefully get the woman, but you can kind of guess that, that's what they're kind of going for.
Duh.
But yeah, no, but what I'm saying is like, as far as things being, it's like, I guess it's somewhat predictable. That's the only like real...
Have you seen a Batman movie where he like loses?
Yeah, Death in the Family would be a movie where he would lose.
I was saying one of the
but I'm saying like they could technically win because that's the thing though too. Deadpool doesn't always win in the comics. Deadpool has a lot of
start out franchise on a bad note where
I know
like, how the fuck do I want to see the next one? The guy lost. Like
no, but again, like that's why I say nitpick. Again, another nitpick. I love that Stan Lee's in the movie.
Empire Strikes Back, they kind of lose, but like in New Hope, they win.
I know, man. I know. No, I get it. So Stan Lee's cameo is awesome.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah. Again, my only nitpick with that is I feel like you
were hoping for Deadpool to recognize him.
Yeah, that was the thing. Now, granted, I understand why they didn't do it because at the same time you have at that time when he's in the strip club, it's actually a very emotional scene. Like again, we're going to spoil this here, but he has to meet Vanessa for like the first time. Since he basically went up and left because he didn't want her to deal with him dying of cancer, and she probably just assumes he's dead. Like he doesn't know, and he looks like a avocado that fucked an older avocado. Like so he doesn't know how she's gonna react. He doesn't know how a lot of things are gonna go down, and he just So like there's all that emotion. Maybe the director was smart enough to know if we have an in-joke with Stan at this exact moment, it's probably gonna take away from that a little bit. But it would have been awesome. If he passed by Stan's DJ booth and was like, "Oh hey Stan," "Oh hey Wade," and then he just moves on, like that would have been hilarious. But I don't know. That's just another nitpick. I'm trying to think of anything else. Like I mean, honestly, there's not too much negative that I can really think about it because it kind of just did everything that it needed to do as far as a film.
Everything that you also like thought would have been something wrong with the movie. I feel like Deadpool made fun of in the movie itself.
Exactly, like so, you're at the X Mansion,
and
that's
you
what
only I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, you can say
it. No, when he goes to the mansion and there's only Colossus and Negasonic there.
Yeah,
and towards the end when he goes to the X Mansion and everything, and he's like,
big house.
Like, this is a giant house. It's weird that I only ever see two of you. It's like the studio couldn't afford more, like something. It's like them making fun of the fact that they're at the X-Men mansion, they can't use pretty much any of the X-Men.
Yeah, dude. It's
so there's all the other little things where he like makes fun of it for the same reason where you'd be like, oh yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, they call attention to it and they make fun of themselves.
Deadpool is one of the greatest characters to do that with because he's one of the few that can get away with it. You couldn't have Wolverine do a Ferris Bueller and explain like why this part of the movie could have been better. You know, like Deadpool, like it works. It works to their benefit.
Well, it's also the other funny part was when Colossus is dragging him away and he's like, "We will go see Professor."
Yeah, and he's like
Stewart or
McAvoy.
Yeah.
The timelines are very confusing.
And like other people in the audience probably wouldn't pick up or catch that, but it's just like
for the fans, it's very much a fan service movie. Not to say that fan service necessarily dominates the whole picture, but it pretty much like if you love Deadpool, like I said, you'll love the movie. If you like the comics, you'll like the movie. I don't know. It's basically. It's seeing Deadpool come to life. It's really good. Like, I mean, now, comic book fans in general, I feel like, you know, like, obviously, don't show it to kids. Like, I think that's pretty blatant and everything. It's pretty intense.
I've seen some Facebook posts from people, not people I've known, so maybe they're made up, maybe they're fake, but I've seen other things on different websites where parents still have brought their kids to the movie. Even at our movie theater, like 1/3 of the way through the movie, my mom nudged me and pointed out there was a mother with 2 little kids leaving the movie, and we're sitting there and we're just like, what the hell? Like they were explicit in all of their advertising that this is not a kid movie. Yeah. Like how many times can we say it?
But
like,
I was just at the local theater here, like in town.
Yeah.
And I like wasn't paying attention because I was, you know, digging through my wallet at the time. But like, yeah, like a mom brought in like her 10-year-old kid to go see Deadpool, and I was like,
well, it depends on. It also depends on the parents. I mean, if they're already watching that stuff at home. Yeah.
I feel. You know, I mean, I honestly feel this is my honest feel because I look at myself when I was like. Yeah, and granted, I was very sheltered. I would say 14 or 15 years old or up could say this movie without much issue. Yeah. I feel like they could go through it and not be scarred for life. You know, I feel like modern 14, 15-year-olds could watch this movie and be fine. Anything kind of under that, you're kind of getting in like murky territory depending on the kid. But yeah, I mean, honestly. It's different. It's like I said, it's a breath of fresh air as far as like what the genre is doing and where they're going with it. And it was both excessive and yet not excessive. Yeah, it's like how you were saying, like there wasn't a lot of blood, but when you needed there to be blood, there was blood. Yeah. You know, like it was really good. Like there's that great scene where he's fighting those goons before he goes up to the top of the craft there at the end. He literally decapitates a guy and then kicks the guy's head like a soccer ball at the other henchman. Like, you couldn't do that in a PG-13 film. Or at least with not as much blood.
Or when he cuts his own hand off.
Yeah.
And there's a splatter blood up on Colossus.
Yeah. Really just, like, taking advantage of that was awesome. You know? Yeah, man. I mean, and the thing is, though, too, like, I want to say this for, like, the tone. Like, it's not all... Some people may not know this, but I think I should verify and clarify. The whole movie is not like a laugh riot. It's not a comedy.
It had some nice deep moments and lines into it. I liked some of them.
Like honestly, when you find out that Wade Wilson has cancer, and you're there with him, even when he's talking, he's not making necessarily jokes. He's legitimately explaining the whole situation, like how his girlfriend is thinking of all the plans through A through Z.
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
And how he's already thinking about like this might be the last time he sees her face. You know, within like he's trying to memorize her face before he dies. Like so, they take it themselves seriously when they need to take themselves seriously, or when he's being tortured by Francis, aka Ajax, in the facility. So, I should say this because you might already know this, but I feel I should say this for fun because I only just read this. As you can see, I'm still going through the Deadpool omnibus. But in the comics, and again, I understand why they simplified it. In the comics, actually, it's a little bit different. Ajax, if you think of the Weapon X facility or whatever they were in at that time,
he wasn't running it. He was just a
if it's like the Shawshank, Ajax was more of like the shitty head guard.
They in the original script they wanted the other guy to show up at the end, so Deadpool was hunting Ajax this whole time, and then he finds out that he wasn't the one like running it. He was kind of the one just like working that facility. Yeah, and there was going to be like a reveal, like, oh, I'm the boss of him. I forget that guy's name, but
well,
he was cut from it.
I think in the comics, the guy's name is Professor Kilbrew or something. But
yes,
in the comics though too, Kilbrew himself as a character goes through a like redemptive arc. Like he doesn't want to do this stuff anymore, and like in the comics, Deadpool legitimately has to concern himself with killing him or not, and chooses not to. But I think they knew it'd be a lot simpler if it's just Ajax and he just kills.
Yeah,
kills
that's why they were worried about putting too many villains in, because they cut 3 villains.
Yeah, there was supposed to be Sluggo and like 2 other ones, right?
So
he was kind of working his way up to Ajax. Yeah,
they cut out other villains, and instead they just gave the 2 main villains and some henchmen.
Yeah, I think honestly it worked out just fine. Ajax and Angel Dust was enough as a counteract to him dealing with Blind Al and Weasel and the Hell House and having to deal with Vanessa, especially for the runtime too. That's the thing too. So let's get a little more into the production hell of this movie, because fun fact, I did not know this. So the budget I think was like $58 million.
That wasn't a lot.
No, but fun fact, I thought it was just a little bit more than that. It was originally 65. They cut $7 million at the last minute. I don't know what they did. I don't know what the issue was, but I read an article where that was the case. So basically, Fox like legitimately just did not. They wanted to just do enough to make the movie look good and have the effects be better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. Thank God for that. Oh God.
Those claws.
I know, but still, that's how much they supported this movie, and now the movie is making pretty much gangbusters. And thank God, because Fox, like I've said to some people, I was like trying to quote Luke Skywalker. If the Fantastic Four is the new movie is the center of the universe, this is the point farthest from that. Like it's the complete opposite, complete on the other side of the coin. Like. Does the characters justice? Like I can't go on enough without just being repetitive. But yeah, so much. It's hard to believe that they would come from both the same studio because of the backlash on one of the
What I'm hoping happens is that Fox sees that they can make a good movie if they kind of cater to the fans and stay true to the comic books.
Yeah.
What I hope doesn't happen is that they see him as a new cash cow. And be like, oh, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we try to update this? Let's do this to him. Like, we've already got a fan base. Let's try to do this.
I will tell you this.
Let's make him better, and by making him better, they actually just fucking
I don't think they're going to touch Deadpool as far as that's concerned for 2 reasons.
He'll touch himself.
No, well, for 2 reasons. One, because Ryan Reynolds, if you notice, is actually a producer on the new movie, and I think he's obviously going to be the producer on the second one. The whole reason that the movie even got made, like half the reason why it happened the way it did. Honestly, that and I was telling you this, that's the one good thing that came out of X-Men Origins Wolverine as far as Deadpool was concerned, because like I knew at the time when I saw that film, I knew almost next to nothing about Deadpool. I may have seen him as like a character, but I didn't know his purpose in the comics. I didn't know that much. When he showed up in the movie, I liked him when he's Wade Wilson and he's talking, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool character.
Did you see the stuff where he pretty much had to like improv those lines?
Oh, really? He had improv all those lines?
Well, yeah, he pretty much like made up a bunch of his lines. I saw an interview with Ryan Reynolds where he was talking about it, and on the script,
it was so much worse.
It said on the script it pretty much was just like in parentheses where it just said like Wade Wilson talks really fast and annoys everybody, and like that was his part in like the script.
Wow.
And that's what they like, because they were like still writing it as they were like filming it.
Oh God! So why do they do that?
Yeah, he was talking about how terrible of an experience it was, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's what I had to work with." So it just kind of like made stuff up.
See, but that's what's so good, man. Is like I told you this before. Like I don't think Ryan Reynolds is like on like Daniel Day-Lewis level as far as actors, but I've always had a soft spot for him, and I felt bad that he was basically becoming like box office poison with like R.I.P.D. and Green Lantern and a bunch of other stuff. But like I knew, but I knew
have not
that
seen many movies where he's not kind of played a very similar character to the ones he's already played.
That as well too. Like he was getting typecasted. Yeah, and I was like
a certain role.
Or he's doing another rom-com.
If he's done a very serious movie, I don't think I've seen it.
No. The thing is too is he was do serious movies, but they wouldn't get a lot of venue unless it was like Safe House or something. The most
serious I think I saw him in was like the Amityville Horror remake.
Well, I've seen Buried, which was really good. I haven't seen The Voices, which I heard is actually really good too, where he plays like a schizophrenic and he thinks his cat and dog are talking to him. and stuff like that. It's kind of
that to me sounds like another comedy.
No, but it's a dark comedy because he legitimately like kills people in that movie. But that's another topic. But what I'm saying is like he has like range, so I felt bad that like a lot of this was happening to him. But I was like, yeah, well, no, he could do Deadpool. Like that was one of the few saving graces of Origins was that Wade as himself was fine in that movie. And then but that's what I'm saying. I don't think Fox will touch that again because they realized that what they did with that character, no one liked that. That movie didn't make nearly the amount of money they wanted to make, so they're not touching it. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with the rest. Yeah. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with the rest of the X-Men characters, but basically, I think they'll leave Deadpool alone as far as that goes. But on the whole, what I'm more worried about, and I think you and I talked about this too, is like, James Gunn brought this up, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. What he's worried about, and what I think I'm worried about too, is not so much like I think some studios will be smart and make certain rated R superhero movies because they know it'll still sell a lot of money. But some others might make it rated R, but try to make it like another Deadpool, like have him break the fourth wall or have him make raunchy jokes rather than making the characters.
Very few characters can even do that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like they won't understand that because they're just following what Deadpool did rather than just making the characters their own. That's what I'm worried about. But that being said, I think it definitely opens the door for making more rated R movies. The word is already. I don't know if we brought this up earlier, but basically that I think they're already changing plans. They want to make the next. I mean, it's not official, but they want to. The rumor is that they want to make the next Wolverine movie.
Yeah, you brought that up before.
Rated R, yeah. So I think that's going to be great. I think that's going to be better than the Wolverine. I mean, Origins Wolverine was terrible, but the Wolverine movie, the newest one when he was in Japan, wasn't as bad. It was like okay.
I thought it was boring.
Yeah, it was really fucking boring, wasn't it? I mean, apart from like the ninjas attacking him in the snow, like
that's at the end.
I know, but it took like forever to get to that point, and and there's literally like a scene in that movie where it's broad daylight, and these like Chinese gangsters dressed as monks are attacking like his love interest. He's in a tux and he's got his claws out and he's fighting them. And there's like no blood, and you're like, "Come on!" Like I'm not 5. Like there's got to be more blood than that. Like I know there's a certain range, but like still, guys, come on. So I don't know. Like,
adamantium is self-cleaning. Teflon coating, no stick.
That's the new timeline. That's what's actually happened. But no, what I like about it though is this goes back to Deadpool too. Is I like that he references the different timelines because after Days of Future Past, Fox is trying to reboot the X-Men franchise, but for better though. I feel like trying to get closer to the comics, with certain differences here and there. But they even make reference to Ajax says, if you don't shut up, Wade, I'm going to sew your mouth shut. And he's like, oh no, don't do that. They won't like that or something like. But that's like making a joke, like. You can see how something could have happened in another universe. I think there's even like what happens when Colossus throws him into a car and it flashes back to the past. I don't know why he has it, but he has like the Baraka Deadpool action figure. Yeah. I had heard rumors. I wish they could have done it, but maybe it was like a hard thing to explain. But I wish I thought there was going to be a scene where I think they do this in television where Deadpool will walk outside the scene and he'll like go talk directly to the audience. I thought there was going to be a scene where he's going to do that and walk out. What I thought was going to
happen is towards the end of the movie he's going to get the teleportation device,
belt
buckle, or sometimes he wears it on his chest.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to get the teleportation thingy, and at the end fight he was going to use it a little bit. But then for like the last scene, it was going to be him like messing around with it. He'll press a button and end up in like that universe,
and then just kill that.
Like, Baraka pulls there, and he's like, "Who the hell are you?" and just kills him.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Like the joke scene was going to be. Obviously,
I think that would have been great if they could have had that as a mid.
We also didn't get the teleportation device in it. So.
No, we didn't get the teleportation. We didn't get a mid. I thought there was going to be a mid credit. There is no mid credit. There's only just the end credit. Actually, let's talk about the end credit because this is what we were talking about earlier. First off, I love the fact that it satirizes Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller is one of my favorite movies ever from my youth, basically. But
well, it's also like a double joke too because it's not only.
Because Ferris breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, he breaks the fourth wall all the time in his movie.
Yeah.
But then the scene itself is like a throwback to before every movie had these after credit scenes.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller had an after credit scene.
Well, Ferris Bueller was smart because I watched the movie many times. They played a whole scene about what happens to Rooney at the end of the movie, and the scene plays through the entire credits.
Yeah.
So people stayed in the audience to watch it that whole time. And then right as it was going up, Ferris is coming out of his room, and he's like, "What are you still doing here? Like, just go. Just go." So it was smart enough to know that. But now, being superhero movies, everyone knows there's always going to be something after the after credits, depending on whatever DC does. But yeah, he comes out, and he's just like, yeah, he's like, "What are you still doing here?" He's like, "Oh, you were expecting some fancy scene? No, we don't have the money for that, or whatever." But
yeah, you're expecting Sam Jackson with an eye patch
and then the nice leather piece? Like, no, that's not happening. But I can tell you, we are getting cable, and that's awesome. And then right after he leaves, he just comes out, just like for 2 seconds with his head, it goes, and then like, and then it ends.
That's the Keira Knightley joke. She's got some range.
Yeah, she's got some range. It was a Mel Gibson and somebody else. So yeah, so that's another thing too. Let's talk about cable while we have a chance here. So Cable in the comics, for people who don't know, he's from the future, and he is the son of Jean Grey and Scott Summers. And in the comics, he befriends Deadpool, and they often work together and do a bunch of crazy stuff. And there's even a series called Deadpool and Cable, which I have yet to buy, but I will be buying it at some point soon, before the next movie comes out. He was making jokes that there was going to be Keira Knightley, but they wanted Mel Gibson, or I think one other person, I can't remember. But the fans have been wanting Stephen Lang, who I mentioned to you, also aka the general from Avatar.
Yeah. Another one is I think he's a wrestler. What's his name?
Yeah, Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash.
Yeah. I think he looks the part, but I don't know his acting range. Yeah. I mean, you have like Dave Bautista.
Not everybody is The Rock.
Yeah, or Dave Bautista, who got acting lessons even before he went into Guardians of the Galaxy. So what's the other thing too? There was it was pertaining to Cable. But yeah. So Stephen Lang wanted to campaign for the role. I think Kevin Nash campaigned for the role. My friend even suggested that Ron Perlman could do it, which I think would be really cool. Hellboy.
Yeah, I know who Ron Perlman is.
Well, I don't know. Some people don't know. But yeah, I mean, is there anyone you particularly want, or you feel like that's good enough?
I haven't looked into it too much yet because I mean, the movie just came out less than a week ago.
Yeah.
And we all kind of knew Cable was going to show up eventually,
or at some point. Yeah. Well, so the idea I think is that they want, or what I think they want to do, the people making the movie, not so much Fox, but they're like, hey, it's all about team up movies. Let's do Deadpool, Cable.
Well, that's
and then
Ryan Reynolds before the movie came out in an interview.
Said he wanted to do X-Force.
He wants to do an X-Force movie before the Deadpool sequel.
Oh, okay.
Right now, they're already working on and writing the Deadpool sequel.
Yeah.
Or what they said was been greenlit already.
Yeah. The thing that I heard before even Deadpool got, it might have been around the time that Deadpool got greenlit. I don't remember the exact time, but I'd heard Fox had wanted to do an X-Force movie.
I heard that too.
Because they wanted more team-up movies and stuff like Avengers.
Cable, Colossus, Domino, with the Indian dude, what's his name?
I don't remember. I'm still learning a lot about that. But the
I'm just thinking like Apache Chief.
No.
Not Chuck.
You're DC. What are you doing here? Get out! Just get out. But no. Yeah, I heard, like, this was a long time ago. It's probably changed by now. I think they wanted the director from Kick-Ass 2 to do it, but now they probably would want Tim Miller. I mean, assuming they want to build up, Deadpool, Cable, then do X-Force. But yeah, honestly, I say bring it on. I'm just really excited at this point.
Well, as with everything, the storyline has to fit the people in it.
Yeah.
You can't just throw Cable in there and be like, hey, go, Cable's here, and be like,
well, technically, with Deadpool, you probably could do that. You'd be like, what are you doing here? Like, this is not. He just looks over the audience. This was not explained. What is happening? And then they just kind of go on with it like they don't care. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what they do with it and where they go. I'm interested to see. I think what they're also waiting for, too, is they're going to see. I mean, again, I don't know how much Bryan Singer or Tim Miller talked about what they're doing with their movies, but I assume they want to
crossover stuff.
Well, yeah. So, like I said, like I definitely want to see Deadpool in a Wolverine movie now. Like, that's what I think they should fucking do while Hugh Jackman's still there. Not only that, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are friends, I think, in real life, as shown by that interview that they did recently, which was great. For those of you who don't know, he went on. Hugh Jackman's doing press release for this movie called Eddie the Eagle, and Ryan Reynolds stopped in and asked him a few questions that I thought was very funny. But yeah, Apocalypse has to happen, and then they're going to see what I think happens with Apocalypse, and then just kind of go from there. Because again, too, the thing is, we haven't. I don't. This is what's confusing to me. Is you have Apocalypse, and if you read the comics, you know that pretty much if Apocalypse is around, there's only like a few feet away from him, and there's Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
I bring that up because Mr. Sinister, if people know the comics, he's obsessed with Jean Grey and Scott Summers and bringing about what to do with their offspring, and that's important because Cable. So I'm interested to see what that goes. Maybe they're holding off. Maybe they want to show Mr. Sinister. Maybe he isn't in the movie at all.
I don't think he's in the movie at all.
That's really weird, though.
I would be surprised if they include him.
Yeah, I really hope the movie, is
like as an actual character and maybe not just like a guy in the background character. Like
I don't know, but they might
shadowy figure in the back.
They might be saving up. I mean, Fox I think is trying to plan for future movies at the same time. Maybe not anywhere near like what WB and Marvel themselves are actually doing, or excuse me, Disney, but they might be, wanting to plan for stuff later. So maybe they're saving Mr. Sinister for something. I don't know. I mean, but I don't expect Fox execs to even know the comics. I assume the people running it, doing the movies, know it better than they do. But that's just me personally. I don't know what their actual thing is. But yeah, let's talk about the production hell. So more. So they took off the $7 million. They pretty much gave it the amount of budget for it to be good, and now it's this huge success. But this movie was in production hell for almost over a decade. They leaked the script first to get people excited about it and get more people talking about it. And it did somewhat, but not. Ryan Reynolds was even quoted as saying that, like, one day it's alive and well and kicking, and the next day it's dead as a doornail, back and forth, back and forth.
It's its own healing factor revival.
Pretty much, and then the test footage got released. A lot of people are pointing fingers at Tim Miller, but Tim Miller, this is what I know for a fact. He was coming off a train, I think coming into San Francisco, and he saw that it was online and blowing up because he had a thing on his phone to bring up any news related to Deadpool. And so that shut up and went crazy on his phone. He immediately went to his computer, and sent a message to the executive saying, like, I swear to God on my daughter's life, I did not leak that test footage. So, I don't know. But whoever did, thank you. Thank you so much for doing that, because that got everyone excited.
There's been articles online that have been pointing fingers at different people. I haven't
honestly,
any of them any grain of salt.
The good thing though, the honestly, I mean, granted, there might be some like slap on the wrist at this point, but honestly, even if they
get mad now,
yeah, like how dare you make us $250 million in less than a week? You son of a bitch!
Right, yeah.
Get out of our office! Like, how dare you be responsible for that? Yeah, I don't see that happening. Yeah, I'm trying to think, because you and I love this movie so much, and we've just been talking about it a lot, so I don't know, is there anything we really want to go over? Anything that was, like, surprising to us? Anything that was really cool? Anything that we can, because I'm trying to get this to go out to be more than a mini pod. I feel like this is a long podcast. I mean, for us especially, because 37 minutes so far. Yeah, but I feel like we can go.
I think it's a good length for just being like a review for one movie.
All right.
The one thing, this is what I hope for the DVD, because
that there's a Deadpool commentary.
Yes.
All right, up top.
I hope that there is a like a director's cut of it too.
No,
all the stuff that is.
There may or may not be. The Tim Miller, there was an article, very brief, but Tim Miller has already come forward saying there wasn't going to be a director's cut. Though, to be fair, Bryan Singer said the same thing about X-Men, the road cut, and then that happened later. Now, to be fair though, X-Men probably had a higher budget and a higher like what they wanted to do.
Or even if it's just not even a director's cut, but the deleted scenes. Or like the outtake reel.
Did they have enough budget to have deleted scenes? That's the real question we have to ask.
Deleted scenes doesn't necessarily mean that there's production value involved in it. It could just be them, like the footage of them sitting at the table, like Ryan and TJ, because they said that there's a bunch of jokes that they would just sit there and feed off of each other, doing stuff that they said was too raunchy
can I just
for the R rating for the movie. I want to see the stuff that was too raunchy. Like if they have it in like a deleted scene where it's just the film footage, like the raw footage of them sitting there doing it. That's the stuff I want to see.
Yeah,
like even if it's just not even like fully rendered, just
them footage. Talking. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty sure the makeup on his face is complete full makeup. That's not like a CGI effect.
Well, yeah, I just mean
yeah. But no, I want to state for the record. Granted, I found the movie highly entertaining and very funny. I would say most of the really good jokes though were spoiled in most of like the TV spots or trailers that I saw. I watched way too much of those, but the one joke that didn't make it into those that I felt was my favorite joke of the movie. Again, this is spoilers, obviously, but It's when they're in the bar and he's saying, oh, you are haunting. You look like an avocado that fucked an older avocado. But then there's that part that didn't make it into there. It was great. It was like, yeah, it's like the relationship was made, by hate fucking. Like that's how you were made. And that was the only thing that was keeping the relationship going, and that was and that's what made you like you're. I don't know if you're gonna die alone, but you probably are. It's like, okay, no, that's enough. That's enough. That was
the joke in that same conversation. He's like, "There's only one thing I can do now." He's like, "Yeah, your own horror movies." Or he's like, "Revenge, your own horror movies." I mean, look at you, like
you look like Freddy Krueger topped the
topographical map of Utah. But I hope that there's like the actors' commentary, but then there's actually
Deadpool
the Deadpool voiceover commentary.
I think Ryan Reynolds would do it on hard.
Yeah, like sitting there, actually like in character, being like, and at this point in the movie, I was thinking to myself, blah blah blah, like talking to you like he's actually there watching it with you and like rewatching the movie of himself, like.
Yeah, he would do that. That's a Deadpool thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping that they're wise enough to be like, we should add this.
Fox Studio does it in the next X-Men movie. Wolverine's just like, I'm not even in this movie.
Either that, or even better, if it was like Mystery Science Theater, where it actually shows his silhouette in the chair watching it like Mystery Science Theater, where he's actually pointing at stuff and making fun of it.
They might do that.
That would be hilarious.
That's a great idea. I could see them actually doing that. To be honest, I could see them having that idea. That would.
Why am I not working for this studio?
Because it's Fox Studios and you'd be in a living hell. Like, do this! Please do this! Why aren't you doing this? And then they just, you just go home and cry yourself to sleep every night.
Sitting in a corner, sucking my thumb, crying.
They're mutants! Why can't you just make these awesome movies? No, they're getting there. Slowly but surely. The one thing, honestly, though, as far as Fox is going, they've done a good job as far as the X-Men are concerned since First Class. They've really come back. First Class, Nature of Your Past are some of my favorite X-Men movies. Deadpool has been amazing. My only thing with them right now as far as that stuff goes is they definitely need to, they're obviously not going to give the rights back, but do what Sony's doing, make a deal, do a thing where Marvel can just do the Fantastic Four, because Marvel knows it best.
Well, this also just popped into my head. You know how much money they're going to make off of merchandising now?
Oh, Deadpool stuff?
Deadpool stuff is
Hot
Topic is gonna have a fucking joygasm.
I'm trying to think, because I think Marvel profits from the stuff. But for instance, I was reading a Marvel comic the other day, Invincible Iron Man. No.
It had a lot of stuff at Hot Topic to begin with anyway. From people who knew the comic books, but now that this movie's out there and
I think Marvel's going to make...
Everybody is going to have,
I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure Marvel's going to make most of the money when it comes to the merchandising, because they own the merchandising. They just don't own the film rights. Now, the DVD and Blu-ray sales will probably be very, very, still very profitable, so I'm not hitting on any of that. But that's why they won't make any X-Men movie-related action figures for Fox.
The Fantastic Four
because then Fox would make the money off that, not them probably. At least I assume that's how it works. I don't know all the ifs and or buts, but Marvel's going to make a kill ton off the merchandising. But still, I would think Marvel would work even harder with Fox to just get Fantastic Four back so that they could just do something. So that Fantastic Four, they literally in the comics at this point in the current time, I just got done reading Secret Wars. Doom is still around doing his thing, but they've literally put the Fantastic Four family, Reed Richards, Sue, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm the Thing, and Franklin and Valeria Richards, the children of Sue and Reed, in limbo until they can basically get things figured out. But basically,
that was before that last Fantastic Four movie.
Oh no! But I think it depends on when it was.
They stopped making any new comic books. They pulled all the licensing and merchandising stuff. So
they
wanted that movie to bomb so they could get their characters.
Yeah, it did, and they still haven't. I don't know. I think Fox just needs to do what Sony did and just make a deal, because they're going to make more money from that deal than they are keep trying to make, because obviously they can't do it, or they would have done it by now. I don't know. Okay, we're getting off topic, but
you know what else just popped into my head?
What?
It would be impossible because of all the characters split up everywhere. But speaking of R-rated movies that you can now do gore, could you imagine a live-action Marvel Zombies movie, or even like a CGI computer animated Marvel Zombies movie?
So the thing is,
that would be awesome.
I 100% agree with you. There's just a few things with
Like
that.
R-rated too, so it's like gory and.
There's a few things with that. We're not going to probably see that movie for like at least the next 10 years at least. I'll tell you why. Because at least this is just me from a Marvel standpoint, not saying anything on the company. I love Marvel, but
they're still keeping everything family friendly.
Well, I think they would do an R-rated movie at some point within the next 5 years through Disney. I think that could legitimately happen after they saw the success of Deadpool. I think they could try to because the only time they've ever really been rated R with their stuff has been basically Jessica Jones and Daredevil.
R-rated Disney, Pirates of the Caribbean, barnacles on the balls.
Oh God, good Lord. I mean, women would probably say that for the Jack Sparrow, but still, everyone just no, that'd be terrible. Anyway, but Marvel Zombies will probably not happen because they've been tapping into the multiverse over years in the comics, but they don't anywhere near get on the multiverse level the way that DC does. DC, like what they're trying to do right now with DC.
I was just thinking of its own.
No, I would. If I was a billionaire, I would support that movie. I would literally give them money to make a Marvel Zombies multiverse type movie. I think that would be awesome. I think if they're smart, what they should do is they should make an animated Old Man Logan movie because you're never going to get Old Man Logan the way that you get it through on the Fox side, a live action.
Well, that's what I was saying is that all the characters for things are split up everywhere.
I know, it's crazy. But there's But yeah, I think only just now they're starting just to tease the multiverse. I've heard rumors that they're going to tease it semi in Doctor Strange because they're also teasing, real magic, not alien magic or whatever you want to call it, but legit magic. They're just now doing that in Doctor Strange. DC is basically hitting the ground running. They're introducing magic. They're doing a bunch of stuff. They're trying to get. I mean, yeah, they're playing catch up, but at the same time, they're going nuts. I think also. This is all rumors, but anytime the multiverse has come up in any sort of official conversation with DC, they're very quiet about it. And I think that they're doing that on purpose because I think they're going to use the Flash TV show.
I was just going to say, bring the TV shows in.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
As alternate universes.
Alternate universes, because that's the way that they can, that's the one, I told you this. I told you this many times. This is the one way they can get ahead of Marvel is by introducing and showing that, yes, you have the movie universe, which is its own thing. But the Arrowverse and Flash are actually connected, but they're in separate universes. They're not in the same universe, but it's all one multiverse. There you go.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Come everybody!
And then Deadpool shows up and kills Slade.
He replaces Slade Wilson for like a little
and
while.
And nobody knows.
They're like, Slade has been really, really
He looks
open
at the camera
lately.
and just like lifts his mask up and goes, shh.
Slade, why don't you take your mask off? No, I'm good.
He's like, keep quiet, you get free popcorn.
No. Slade, didn't you have like one part of that mask completely covered? Oh, I grew the other eye back. You can do that? Yes. Yes, I can.
Yeah, I was just deciding not to.
Yeah. The funniest part too, and I'm not shitting on Liefeld that much because that's like Rob Liefeld is an artist. He's the co-creator of Deadpool.
He's in the movie.
He is in the movie. He's in the bar scene, and he literally calls him Liefeld as he walks by, which is hilarious. That being said, I think it's just kind of funny because he was one of those guys that came out of the '90s and stuff, where like the artwork was getting really kind of hectic and stuff. He was just getting more and more crazy, and he's known for making things disproportionate and like not drawing feet where they should be. And there's a lot of weird stuff. Like he's not the best artist, and I just love whenever he goes in a press conference and he's like, "Oh yeah, the character's so original. I thought of it myself." And it's like, dude, you made it a Wade Wilson literally copy until like Fabian, the other guy, writer artist was like, maybe we should make him a bit different. And then other writers and artists came in and kept adding to Deadpool over time and everything. But when he first showed up, he was pretty much like a Wade Wilson.
Yeah, he was a clone.
He was a clone of Wade Wilson, basically.
Slade.
Excuse me, Slade. Sorry.
Yeah.
Slade Wilson, Wade Wilson. I'm sorry if I get that confused. Excuse me. But see, that's what I'm talking about. That being said, I'm glad that he's getting all the success and his character is made real, and I hope Fabian and Liefeld can cash in from that. Hopefully they'll make a lot of money.
I'm also curious as to when Death will pop up.
Well, this is
if Death will pop up.
So this is what we were talking about. In the original comic, this is another thing that was really interesting, because the thing is, in the Marvel Universe, in the comics, when Deadpool is becoming Deadpool, when he's still Wade Wilson and he's getting experimented on and all this stuff is happening, he sees death literally the incarnation of the Marvel version of Death in his cell. And Death's actually just watching him. And he's like, "Who the hell are you?" And she's throwing gas because mortals are not really meant to see her, not unless she usually wants them to. And he notices her right away. She's like, "Oh, that must mean that you're near death, but you're just lingering there." And then she's kind of fascinated by him. She's like, "Well, you die, and you come over to our side. We'll have a lot of fun." He's like, "Yeah, baby." He's like, he's ready to go. All he wants to do in that point is die anyway. And so he just literally keeps annoying Ajax and everybody he can within in a not a 5 mile, but anybody within his vicinity to just get murdered before he even gets tortured or whatever else, to just die. And then something happens. Ajax, I think, kills one of his friends or one of his so-called other buddies there, which he doesn't. He's like, "Oh, I'm not a friend of yours," and then he dies, and then he's like, "Ah!" and he literally dies, and then brings himself back to kill Ajax and everything else. And because of that, Death gets really pissed at him. And then later it gets even more, because at this point in the comics it was already established that Thanos is infatuated with Death. Yeah. The Infinity Gauntlet stuff had already happened.
One of the reasons why he kills so many people.
Yeah, he kills people to
impress
her. But she's not impressed by it. She's always just sort of like hanging around and just sort of like, okay, and then she just never pays him the right attention or barely talks to him. She talks to Deadpool like all the time, which is hilarious. And so they have this whole rivalry between Thanos and Deadpool. And I think either Thanos or Death makes it impossible for him to actually die. Or Thanos does it, so he'll never die to actually join Death. So it's really cool.
He curses him with life.
Yes, I haven't read that yet, but I've heard that, and it's so awesome. And we're never going to be able to see it in the Deadpool movie. But you and I were discussing. You and I were hoping that Death, because again, Death is.
I was hoping even just for like a tiny scene where while he's getting tortured.
Yeah.
No, not even as a joke. While he's getting tortured or something, where he looks like he's in and out of consciousness, or he's getting tortured, or they lift his head up and he just sees the shadowy silhouette of the Grim Reaper for even a 2-second little thing, and everybody else will just think he's near death, and most other people won't get it. Other people will be like, "Oh, look it!" Ooh,
it's Death, yeah. Because Death is sort of
not even them talking, not even anything. Just one of those you see in a movie where it's kind of fuzzy, they can barely see, their eyes are barely open, and you see it from their perspective. And as he's getting tortured, he sees think Tyler Durden Fight Club type of deal.
Yeah,
in the beginning where he shows up for a second.
Yeah, I don't know about that quick.
I don't mean it that quick. But I mean it.
But yeah, no.
Fashion where it's
I totally
a couple seconds and then it's gone, and then you're just he just said that.
I totally see that. And it's good too because Death is sort of one of those loophole characters. You don't really have a copyright on Death. Mm-hmm. Maybe the way that she's shown, possibly. So Death is a female in the Marvel universe, and but yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they would do with that. But yeah, that didn't happen. You and I were talking about that, if that was going to be a possibility or not. But then maybe they figured it'd just be better for him to concentrate on Vanessa, because also in the comics too, at that point, he does have a relationship with Vanessa, but it's very different in the comics. He didn't have any relationship when he was getting experimented in the comics, so it was just more. It wouldn't have been as complicated, I think. Or, it would have been complicated had they done
needed that for the main drive of the plot, the storyline of the movie.
Yeah, so, him having something to go back to. But what I was saying earlier, we were talking about at the very beginning, it's good we spread this out because I didn't get to iterate this. This really is a good anti-hero movie, because right off the bat, apart from all the Deadpool stuff him doing, when you get the flashback, you get right off the bat that he's maybe not the most sane character. He has a military background. He's killed people for money. He still does stuff for money, but now he's trying to help out the little guy. He's maybe trying to make himself a better person, but at the same time, he's in that sort of this grayish area. And then when he gets to the facility, we meet Ajax, and then we meet what actual evil is. Because Ajax at one point even tells him, "Oh, I'm going to torture you." I don't even really need to. I just kind of want to. And he just leaves him there to get more and more tortured. And then but I like it, though. It's that good significance of, at least in this genre, showing that there's that gray area of a character, and then there's the real.
Well, it's like when he's saying to Colossus on the highway, and he's like, "You might think I'm bad, but that guy's pure evil.
He's a douche." He's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's But it's funny too. It's a cool thing where he's just like, "Look what you did to me." And he's like, "I made you immortal. What are you crying about?" Like, "Oh, look at me. I have a fugly face." But yeah, that's the Ajax attitude though. But no, I liked the character isn't as fleshed out as I would have wanted, but I still like that he taunts Wade all the time, and he's like, "What's my name? What's my name?" And he's just like, "I'll spell it out for you, Francis." And then he does. It's awesome.
Hydra Agent Bob doesn't die.
Yeah, so that's there is that cameo of Bob. Now I don't know much about Bob. I know he's in the comics and stuff. I've starting to learn a little bit more about him. But he does have a buddy that's Bob and Hydra, who actually I think has his own series too now at this point. Who basically is Hydra, but he's kind of like he's sort of what's the best way to put it? He's sort of like
Well, they used to work with each other.
No, they did back in the old days, but Bob himself is sort of like the main character in Office Space. Like he's there, but he doesn't like his job. He doesn't really think about it too much, and he just does it for money, more or less, And this happens to be Hydra, and so he and Deadpool get into antics like all the time, apparently in the comics. Like I said, I'm still reading my way up to that point, but yeah, they even had Bob. They couldn't call him from Hydra, but he meets up Bob and then knocks him out, and then
he doesn't. He's like the one henchman he doesn't kill.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah,
he's just like talking to him like casually, then
knocks him out because he has to get on with his thing and whatnot. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But you know what? I want to state how much I loved Colossus in this movie. I can't actually. I haven't really talked about that too much. It's a different version than what we've seen in Days of Future Past and the older movies. They wanted to, for continuity's sake, they did actually want to get the original actor to come back, but they wanted to do the the Russian accent this time because now it's a different Colossus with a different timeline and everything. But the actor didn't want to just stand there and be motion captured, so he didn't come back. So they got a whole new. Well, they got a whole new thing. That's why Colossus also looks different as well. But that being said, this is a great iteration of Colossus, and he is a great foil to Deadpool. Who again? He's sort of like he's the ultimate good, Ajax the ultimate evil, and then Deadpool is sort of just right in the middle, basically, with everything that he does. And Colossus is just a very funny character. There's a scene where he's really fighting Angel Dust. Like he has to fight her because she's just not going down, and when he knocks her back, her like top comes off, and you don't see anything because Colossus is covering his eyes, and he's just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. Here, I'll give you time to fix it." He's like, "Oh, you're so nice," and then she punches him in the groin, and he's like, "Oh." But I love that because like that's Colossus to me. Like he's just like nice.
He's a Boy Scout.
He's a Boy Scout, but he's a good dude, and I love that they have. But I love that it's there for the contrast too. Like it's not just that like, "Oh, here's Colossus." Yep.
Yeah, right.
That's him. Like he actually has a point and like a meaning to the story and everything too. And Negasonic Teenage Warhead is also
Angsty
a good
teenager.
Yeah, I don't want to be here, and everything I'm either going to be either silent or a mean comment. Silent or mean comment. What's it going to be? Okay, you got me in a box. That's what I thought. It was just that was good too. Anything else stand out for you? I mean, did you like T.J. Miller in it too?
I liked him a lot. That's why I'm hoping to see. Like I was saying, the raw footage of them, because in an interview with him, he was talking about how being on set with Ryan Reynolds, I guess Ryan Reynolds is just a funny guy to be around.
Oh, he's very good at improv.
And so both of them, like I was saying, they would just feed off of each other and keep going with jokes and just go off script and keep up the gags, but then they had to cut a bunch of them because they weren't on script or they were too raunchy.
Just too much, or they weren't even making any sense anymore.
Yeah, and so that's I want to see like that type of stuff to be like to see how far they actually went off of each other. But I give it a thumbs up. I'm probably going to end up seeing it again while it's still in theaters.
Nice.
I still have not seen it in 3D.
I don't think it is out in 3D, to be honest.
Oh, then IMAX or something. I know it's an IMAX.
It is an IMAX. I know that. I've seen it in IMAX. It's really good in IMAX. That's what I love, though. It doesn't even have 3D going for it, and it outgrossed all of the single, opening weekend. It outgrossed all the single. Can't talk. The single superhero type movies like Superman and Spider-Man and all those other heroes, and it was rated R. Really impressive.
That's all I gotta say on it. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was great. It was glorious. It was wonderful.
Yep, same here. Thumbs up. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Don't take your kids unless they're like 14 or 15 and they can handle that kind of stuff, I guess.
Or you want your kids to be awesome at an early age.
or mentally scarred, depending on what you want to go with and whatnot. All right, man. I guess that's it. So, all right. Well, that's it for me today, and that's it for KJ. And have a good one.
Bye.